I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get started with the Town of Andover Board of Selectmen, a special meeting for Friday, March 4th, 2022, starting at 6 o'clock. And we are going to start with public speak. And as we have members for potentially the board of the BAA appointment, there is only one little block that I don't know what is, the MACPC. Anybody? Would you like to participate in public speak? Okay. We are hoping to, and I appreciate the three potential alternates joining us. And Georgette, who's the chairman of the BAA, thank you for joining us for this. Paula, do you know where our friend Mr. Mandeville is so we can move along? Oh, I apologize. You know what? I forgot the Pledge of Allegiance, didn't I? We'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Sorry about that. I apologize to anyone who I offended there. The town attorney has now joined us. That's good. How are you, sir? How was your radio show?
It was great.
Excellent.
I had the, I won't talk about it. I'll let it go.
Okay.
Great show though. Have you on someday, Jeff?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Looking forward to watching that. All right. So Paula, have you emailed him and texted him?
I will do that right now. You know, Adrian time is.
I get it. But
I will
well,
text him.
you text him, and Georgette, would you like to speak beforehand, explain the situation for the BAA, and then we can move on to discussing or talking to candidates?
The problem being that it's a 3-member board, and one of the members is appealing as well as his brother. So he has to recuse himself from those 2 processes. And it would help if we still had 3 people, because it would probably end up in a tie without a 3rd person. Someone would have to break the tie. I think it would be more fair to have a 3rd person.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go to the town attorney before I go to anybody else. And Dennis, according to the charter, the Board of Selectmen has the authority to appoint an alternate to the board of the BAA.
That's a state statute that authorizes that. Yes.
All right. I know that on our Zoom call, we have Joan Foran, Elaine Buchart, and Robert Hamburger, all potential candidates for the position. Would any of you like to speak, and can I sit there and pick you in any order, or I'll ask Joan. Joan, would you like to speak before us for the position?
Joan, can you unmute yourself?
She's trying. Okay, Joan, we'll go to Elaine now. Then we'll come back to you.
Hi.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi. Yeah, Georgette Conrad knows, that I've been on the BAA before for years, and that I'm a real estate agent. So when it comes to any kind of assessment changes and stuff, I do have the ability to go ahead and look into market value, current market value, things like that. So there is an advantage to being able to look things up, keep everything as objective as possible. But I'm certainly willing to act as an alternate. My understanding that it is just for these 2 particular motions, because the main 3rd person on the BAA has to recuse themselves. So it's like, okay. And I agree with Georgette that it would be good to have 3 people so that there is not a tie. in case there's a tiebreaker, but I'm certainly willing to serve if I can.
All right, thank you. Joan, are you all good now? You should have unmuted and left it there, Joan. No, still muted, Joan.
Press and hold your space bar.
You had it, Joan.
Early unmutes you. You have to hold it down.
Look at Bob Hamburger. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
There you go.
Is that good?
That's good.
That's good.
So I am also interested in the alternate position. I have served as chairman on a prior time, and I really enjoyed it. And I understand that I probably won't be voting except in a situation to break a tie or in the absence of the full member. But what I'd like to offer, and I think this is really important, during my time at the board, we had classes that were held in Andover. They were held by the Association of Assessing Officials, and they were very informative. We had three, one dealing with just the handbook, another with motor vehicle, and a third with PA 240. At that time, we had an appeal pending, and it was very, very helpful, but also informative. We had members of OPM staff coming and other local assessing staff. The point that I'd like to make is sometimes it's difficult for new members to come and deal with some of the statutory requirements that are utterly necessary to achieve the equity. And if we are looking for new members in current elections, we have one coming up. The alternate position gives you the chance to bring in new members, have training, and then have them stay. When you maintain your membership, you maintain not only longevity, but information. And this is really important to a continuous support of not only the assessor, but also our taxpayers. And so that is what I'd like to volunteer to do, in addition to whatever votes I am needed to cast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joan.
Thanks, Joan.
Bob?
Thanks, Jeff. What I bring to this situation, I previously served on the Planning and Zoning Commission. In fact, I chaired it for a couple of years. So I have that regulatory and real estate, experience. And I'm also an engineer, for the last 40 years. So I'm somebody who lives and dies by the facts and by deductive logic and examining and trying to find the truth. So I pride myself on being a very logical, dispassionate kind of person. Politically, I'm neutral, I'm independent. So I like to joke that I'm more liberal than my conservative friends think I am, or rather less liberal than my conservative friends think I am, and more conservative than my liberal friends think I am. So, I try to stay as neutral as possible and rational and logical. So that's what I can bring to the process.
All right, thank you very much. Do any of the other members have any questions that they would like to ask?
No.
No? All right, so we have to vote in one of the individuals. So I do believe we should have some discussion related to this. So,
I guess maybe I can start it. I'll make a motion that we consider Bob Hamburger for the open spot so we get the discussion at least.
okay, does someone want to second that?
Dennis wants to speak, I believe.
Well, second it, and then we'll get Dennis to speak. Okay, I'll second it. Dennis?
I just
What would
want to clarify, I believe the statute would allow you to appoint more than one alternate. I don't know if that's a good idea, but you never know. That puts the onus or whatever on the chairman to decide which alternate to seat if you have more than one. So I'm not sure which is the best way to go, but I just wanted you to know that that is an option.
Well, in this case, though, I think that the issue may be that the chairman is one of the people with conflict. So I don't know that I want him appointing his replacement.
What
So
was that?
isn't the chairperson the one that has a conflict?
Georgette is the chair.
No,
Oh,
no,
George
no,
or just the chair? Okay.
no, it's Georgette. Georgette's the chairperson.
Okay.
And they're
Yeah.
also, the other thing I want to point out is with regards to the process, I've written a memo on the process that I've sent to the members of the association. There's also a terrific handbook put out by the assessors that could be used by anybody who's new. Just so you know,
Okay.
that's all.
For clarification, we're just envisioning this person for the couple of hearings that we have an issue with, right? At this point?
Actually,
Yes.
Okay.
actually, if you appoint an alternate and there's something unexpected happens and somebody can't show up, that alternate could sit in if somebody's ill or whatever.
Okay.
So, that alternate could be used for all purposes that are needed if they don't have a full complement. Thank you.
Okay.
So Dennis, to clarify, this person would be in until the next election cycle as an alternate? Correct?
That's a good question. I think that person would be in probably until the end of this particular round of hearings. In fact, I would move, you should probably put that in your motion, that as soon as this round of hearings, and I think Georgette knows better than I do, but I think there's 13 or 14 cases and some 4 or 5 have been disposed of already. So it's not going to be long, but there are 2 cases where we know we're going to need an alternate, Jeff. And yeah, I would say for the end of this session of hearings this year, if you could put that in your motion.
Georgette?
That's a very good question.
There are 7 cases, but it's only the last 2, Alan Roy and Dan Roy, that the alternate would be voting on.
Okay.
I am going into the hospital on Tuesday to have a hip replacement. So if something happens to me, the alternate you need another alternate too.
Dennis, I'll ask you a question.
Always ready, Jeff.
Sure. So since
That's why I'm here.
since the concern, and just so everybody understands how this is playing out, Mr. Roy, who is the one person the alternate is replacing, recommended Joan Foran for the alternate. And Georgette, who's the chairperson, recommended Elaine Boucard. Right. So Mr. Hamburger is a third party, non-affiliated to the situation individual. So you had said we could potentially seat multiple alternates.
You could appoint.
Can we, as the board, appoint the alternates and in order of, because the issue would be not to allow the chairperson to pick the individual on the bench to sit there and hear this case.
I think you have the power to do that. That's not clear, but I don't see why not. You are the Board of Selectmen. You are, under your basic statute, you are to superintend the needs of the town. There's nothing in the statute that would bar that. I think the statute is intended to make sure that the job gets done.
Can you clarify that thought process, Jeff? Because
Well, my issue is if Georgette has a hip replacement, we could be back at this again. I mean, God forbid, Georgette, I don't ever wish, I'm not saying anything, but we could be back at this again is what I'm trying to tell you. And I don't want to, that's all I was thinking, Adrian, is do we do this now and see multiple alternates? I mean, because all 3 individuals were willing to sit there and come and participate. I have no problem with any of them. I would sit there and I understand the logic of Mr. Hamburger being the selection, simply because it leaves the board in a position where we did not pick an individual that was recommended by, the the person that is having to be replaced or by the individual that voted against that. So to me, I understand. I will vote for Mr. Hamburger for the simple purposes of being as impartial as we possibly could be. But I also respect the fact that Joan and Elaine offered up and actually accepted. So I guess the question to the board is, okay, we could be back here in another couple days and doing this again. God
So
forbid.
let's do it as two separate motions if you want to do that. Let's do the replacement for the abstention hearings, and then if there is a need for another alternate, we can appoint do a second motion.
Okay.
You want to do
All right.
it that way?
I have no problem with that. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so, unless there's further discussion on the Robert Hamburger motion, anybody else?
Where'd Paula go?
She's sitting right there.
Somehow I missed.
All right, so all those in favor of the appointment of Robert Hamburger to the Board of Assessment Appeals as an alternate? Aye.
Aye.
It's 5-0. All right, would we like to make a second motion to sit there and appoint? Do we appoint both of the other individuals in case of emergency? And allow one or the other?
So what do they do? Thumb wrestle at that point? I mean, we got to pick somebody.
Now we're back to an even number, which doesn't work.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, Dennis, can we point both of them?
Well, we
Yeah,
could,
But then you're
we
gonna end
have
up,
to
you
be an
could end up
even.
with a tie. You could end up with a tie, so it defeats
Well,
the
it's so
purpose.
unlikely that this will, it will necessitate having to seat them.
I tell you what, as opposed to doing anything related to the next appointment, I am going to put my trust in God and Georgette's doctors, and she will be okay.
That makes me feel better.
Is everybody good with that?
I just
Yeah.
didn't want to be the jinx. Like,
Joan and Elaine, we do want to thank you very much for attending and stepping up in this situation. We greatly appreciate it, and we know you both have the qualifications, and it puts the situation in a little bit different light for the board to allow us to do it this way. So
I
thank you.
think
very much.
I think we just want to say we appreciate you giving volunteered in the past, and we appreciate you stepping forward again. So,
We do.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
all
much.
of it, all three of you, actually. So
Anytime you need me.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
nice to have three capable people to choose from, that's for
Right.
sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Would have been a very hard vote there.
Yeah.
And
All
right.
Georgette, I hope everything goes well on Tuesday for you. So,
Hopefully. All right. Thank you very much. All right. We are now going on to item 4, discuss the town return to work procedure. And we're going to do this and go into executive session to do this. So someone want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss return to work policy for the town.
I'll
I'll
second.
second that.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right, everybody else, thank you for attending. Bob, thank you very much. Enjoy your night out.
Thank
who
you,
has
everyone.
Paula, you have control?
Not yet. I think she's working on it.
I'm
Paul
willing to
always
stay
has
on,
control.
Jeff, if you'd like.
Say that again, Dennis?
I says, I'm willing to stay on if you'd like.
Yes, we would